Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you doing? How is everyone holding up? We are back, or I am back with a brand new video as usual. Every Friday, I give you brand new videos on different HIV and AIDS topics or different HIV and AIDS concerns that I have been asked by you guys that I feel that I should address and such kind of things. So if you're new here, my name is Doreen Mora Moracha, a young woman who has lived with HIV her whole life. 28 years. It's, I think, 4 months to 29 years. So we're gonna celebrate. And today you can call me Doreen with the good hair. What's up? Anyway, forget about my hair. Today I am over here with a new video. First of all, update from the video I did on the ARV shortage. Well, still we do not have ARVs. We still have an issue on ARVs in our country. I am not sure when the standoff is going to end, because it's not that there are no ARVs. There are ARVs. They are in the country, but they're stuck at the port because there is a standoff between our government and the donor. Sorry, guys, like, oh my God. Anyway, there is a standoff between the government and the donor, and because of, governmental issues. So just continue keeping us in your prayers and sending us all the love, because we need the love, and we are hoping that this standoff ends as soon as possible, because if it does not, we are looking at a very sad situation going forward. So let me just pray and hope that the government and the donor come into terms and into conclusion, and please give us our ARVs, okay? So today, according to the topic of this video, I want us to speak about nannies living with HIV, or house managers, or domestic managers, whatever you call them. In South Africa, I saw they are called, what is that name? Why is that name going? Sorry about that. Child minders. Yeah, that is the name I was looking for. Child minders. So I don't know which name you're going to give them, but let's just settle for nanny. So I have seen questions. I have seen friends with concerns, and they're telling me, hey Doreen, so my nanny is living with HIV. Is it safe for me to leave her with my child? My mom had a colleague who hired a nanny who was living with HIV, and I can tell you for free that they did not treat that nanny nicely at all. Like, the whole time they were always, at some point even the husband refused to eat her food. So is it safe for you to hire a nanny who is living with HIV? And is it necessary for them to tell you their HIV status? And how do you handle your nanny's HIV status if they're taking care of your child and also taking care of the household chores? Because one of the things we know is in Africa, unlike other countries, for us, it's not that you're babysitting alone. You're babysitting and doing other duties around the house. So how safe are these people? And do they really owe you their HIV status? Because that is one of the things that a lot of people have concerns about. And I've actually even seen people come to my inbox and tell me, Doreen, I was hired as a nanny, but I did not like how my employer treated me, because he or she terminated my employment because they found out I was living with HIV, or I am living with HIV. And a lot of them are very concerned, because at this point they're like, now do I continue looking for employment in this line? And if I do, how do I okay, how do I handle my employer? So one, safety is important. And I know that as a person, as an employer who is hiring a nanny, who you want them to take care of your household and your children all together, I cannot, I don't want to, not rubbish, but rather water down your concerns that your child or the nanny is going to come to your house, they're living with HIV. How will you handle them? Are you putting them on a special diet? Are you separating them from the child? You know, do you need two nannies, one who is living with HIV and the other one who is not? But you see, safety is important for all of us, whether the person is living with HIV or not. And the thing is, with safety, it's not about people living with HIV or their health status. Remember, your child, maybe if they're going to school, if they are school going age kids, they meet teachers. You don't know if the teacher is living with HIV. They're taken by the bus driver. You don't know if the bus driver is living with HIV. They interact. They go to Sunday school. They go to the shop. You see, so you don't really know the people who interact with the child in a day. Are they all living with HIV? Do you separate all of them from the child? But no, you don't. Why? Because unless your nanny in the situation has infectious diseases such as TB, then you have, that is a concern, because TB is not only even an infectious disease for the child, it's also going to be an infectious disease for the whole family. So that point, I can actually support your concerns and say, probably at that point, try and find them medication for TB, try and know if they're on medication, and try and figure out a way that you can work with them. If you can't work with them and you're uncomfortable, don't stigmatize them. Let's tell them, hey, it's honestly not, I don't feel comfortable, and put it in a way that is human enough for them to understand that you're not really firing them because you don't like them or their HIV status, but because you're concerned. But that is only on TB, and that is a preference. But for for most people who are nannies who are living with HIV, most of them don't have any form of opportunistic infections. They come into your house, they have their ARVs, they go for their clinic days. So the other part is, how do they access medication? Because last year, but one, I had a friend of mine telling me, so my nanny takes her medication. She used to take her medication from her village, and now she's in Nairobi, and I don't know what to do. And they actually organized, I helped out a little bit, and they organized, and she started taking her medication in Nairobi. So that is also another thing. If they come out and tell you, hey, I'm living with HIV, and I will be needing like 1 day after 3 months to be able to go to the hospital and pick my medication, or now because I've come from the village and I used to take my medication, how do I handle this now that we are in the city or in an urban area? So that actually, but it is a choice. Remember, this is all a choice. If they decide and tell you on Wednesday 21st, I want to be off, you can settle on that. Why? Because they know the reasons why they want to be off, but they do not owe you an explanation that I'm on medication. They don't owe you an explanation that they're on ARVs. They don't owe you an explanation that they are living with HIV. Constitutionally and according to the law, it is illegal not to hire a person based on their HIV status. It is also not mandated that a person should come out and tell you their HIV status. For example, I work, right? So I told my boss I'm living with HIV because I wanted an easy time to be able to go and pick my medication, go for my tests and treatment, so that it is easier, and they know that if Doreen is not at work, she has gone to pick her medication, or she has gone for her viral load, for annual viral load test and such kind of things. So even you as a person living with HIV, in an employment setup, have you disclosed to your boss? You see, these are the kind of questions you need to ask. Because for people who work flexible hours and you're able to tell your boss, let me just stretch to the hospital, I'll come back, and they don't really need to know what you went to do at the hospital, then I don't really also think that this nanny owes you their HIV status. And remember, HIV is not airborne. It is an infection or a virus that is in the blood. So it is not airborne that once they breathe out and your child breathes in, then they're going to get HIV. No. And some parents are worried because they have breastfeeding children, and they're worried, what if the nanny tries to breastfeed me? If you have such trust issues, you can always have probably a nanny come to monitor the progress of the nanny during the day, so that if you have any issues, you don't want them actually breastfeeding your child. That is actually very wrong. Now that is wrong, and I know that there are nannies who do that. That is wrong, mean, and wicked in very many ways. So if they do such a kind of things, that is something that is punishable by the law. But if you have trust issues and you've left them home with a child who is breastfeeding, then please just go the extra mile. Install a nanny cam. You can always have a trusted relative in the house, so that you have it all covered. I know that it comes with the with the territory. You have to be worried, but don't be worried, because we are all here to learn. Okay, so I won't stop talking about HIV and all its dynamics until we have 0 new infections. And because we do not have 0 new infections, then we continue talking about it. Okay, so also, you don't really have to worry about them cooking for you, because ideally HIV cannot be transmitted through food. You see, you don't have to worry about them cleaning the house, because HIV is not transmitted on top of surfaces. Okay, so it's just like for every other employee. It's not like an airborne thing that if they cook, you're going to get it in the food. If they wipe your house, you're going to get it somewhere. No, it does not. The HIV virus does not have such kind of dynamics that it's going to be left on a surface and you're going to get it. But they can cook. Some of people living with HIV are very great cooks, okay? And as if they decide to come out and tell you, hey, boss, I am living with HIV and I want this and that, then support them. Just ensure that they are accessing the medication, they're taking the medication faithfully, and they are eating well. It's not, if you watched my last week's video, you can realize that it's just people living with HIV just eat normal food. So it's just the normal food. Just give them the more normal food and everything falls back to place. Okay, so another thing that I would like to say is, if you are not comfortable with a nanny who is living with HIV in your house, and you don't want them to take care of your child, you don't want them cleaning around your house, you don't want them anywhere at all, then I would advise that if probably you found out, maybe you found their ARV medication, maybe you found their clinic card, and then all of a sudden you're uncomfortable and you don't really want them in your house, please find a way of firing them that is a little bit humane, so that they don't end up feeling like they're less of humans. Okay, they are still human beings. They can be your sister, they can be your brother, they can be your cousin, they can be anybody, because remember, with HIV, if you're not infected, you're definitely affected. So don't mistreat them. Okay, do not mistreat them just because you found out about their HIV status. They're still normal human beings. They still deserve your love, your care, and your affection. It is better to lay them off nicely, like you would lay off any other nanny, and let them go. Otherwise, if you are comfortable and you're like, okay, they can take care of my child as long as they're doing their work and as long as they take their medication and they're healthy, I don't mind them, then go ahead. But if you mind and you're like, at the end of the day, it's all about preference. Okay, so if it makes you uncomfortable, don't leave them in the house, because if it makes you uncomfortable, probably subconsciously you might end up stigmatizing this person. Okay, so as we go forward, and I'm going to share this on my Instagram, so probably as you watch this video, you are also going to interact with it, to interact with the whole topic on today's Insta stories. So ensure, as you are hiring someone, if you want to ask it at the beginning, ask. Remember, they don't owe you the status, but this is saving you from the worries as days go by. Ask so that you can become comfortable and tell them, you know what, I really, really like you, but I honestly don't think I can do this. And do it respectfully, because a lot of people, in fact, the reason why a lot of nannies become very mad is because of how the employer treats them. So imagine, put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, what if I am the one who my employer found out I'm living with HIV and they decided to fire me on the basis of my HIV status? Not because I can't perform, not because I can't do my work, not because of anything, just because I'm living with HIV. Don't define them by their HIV status. Allow them to do their work. If you don't feel comfortable, then tell them, I honestly don't feel comfortable and I prefer if you could just leave. And do it in a respectful manner. If they have come out to you and they have told you I'm living with HIV, find ways that you can support them. Give them off days on the days that they need to go to hospital. Ensure that they take the medication every day. Ensure that they eat well. Ensure that they are happy and content and they are doing their job effectively. So up to this moment, please don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and interact with me on the comment section. Let me see you next week. Bye for now. And it is me, Doreen, with the good air. I am out.